I don't know how to fix it, and I'm gonna go to bed now. Today, there's nobody else here, we're following a trend for the first time in my life. Ooh, it's an intervention from the future. Just want to let you know this trend did not happen with this dress, so ignore everything I just said. I have no pattern, I just have an idea. I'm actually gonna draw it so that you see what I'm going for. That's what we're going for. I have a bed sheet. This is all really chaotic and last minute. In my head, I can finish this today. Probably not. I have this simple bed sheet that I got from IKEA in the Fundgrube. I think it cost me like €3. I don't have a zipper. First step, cut up the bed sheet, see how much fabric we have, and then think of the next step. Cheers. Oh, I just brushed teeth. The first thing I did, of course, was cut apart my bedsheet to see what I'm actually working with. So the bedsheet was 1.40 meters times 1.80 meters-ish, and that twice. So we now have 360-ish times 140, right? No. Oh, 280 times 180. Yes. Okay.
Bombastic side eye.
Originally, I wanted to use this pattern that I made for my Queen of the Night dress. It's a gathered half circle skirt, and you make 2 of them, but as you see, I did not have enough fabric. So instead, I took my waist measurement, struggled a bit more with my limited spatial awareness, and finally decided to just make 2 skirt panels with a gathered waist. So I took my waist measurement, multiplied it by 2 so that I could have a lot of gathering, and then divided it by 2 for the 2 panels, because, you know, front and back panel. So each panel was about 70 centimeters. From there, I just measured and cut it to be floor length and made the bottom of the panel as wide as I possibly could on the fabric that I had. This is what the front panel looks like. It's exactly my waist circumference because it will all be gathered up later. And for the back panel, we do exactly the same measurements, but I cut it up in 2 so we can add a zipper later. Okay, listen. I didn't use any pattern for the top, and I don't really have any explanation except that I must have been blessed by some long forgotten sewing god, because all I did was hold the fabric to myself and draw some lines, and somehow it worked. Look at this girl. She has no idea what she's doing, and she knows it. It's basically, I drew a line down the middle of my torso because the front panel should be symmetrical, and honestly, I just guessed from there, and yeah. I don't know, I guess I'm a genius. I pinned the center front part that I magically created to my dress form and created the side and back panel from there and prayed that my luck would hold. I'll tell you more about it later. Somebody call the police. I made this. It like fits perfectly. Okay, the only thing I'm gonna change is this, the peak, where I want the strings to attach, like the straps to attach, is too much on the right. Like I want it here. I am so proud of myself right now. The new sewing achievement unlocked. I hope I didn't make you super excited for my success, because I actually had to change a few things because it wasn't fitting right, but I'll show you that later. I cut down the top a bit to shift the peaks on the sides more inward, and then took it apart and made the lining. Future me is also going to be pleased to know that I didn't copy it onto paper, because why? For the straps, I cut out 4 pretty long strips of fabric around 3 centimeters wide and 1 meter long, and then tragedy struck while I was turning them right sides out. I just broke my loop turner. See, the turner thing is gone. I pulled and it broke off. And I'm still midway through. after that emotionally scarring emotional roller coaster, it was finally time to construct the bodice. For that, you just sew all the panels back together again, do the exact same thing for the lining until you have both bodice pieces, and then it is finally connecting time. For that, make sure that right sides are facing each other and take your little strippity straps and wedge them in between the two layers, otherwise they'll be on the wrong side when you flip it inside out. For some extra satisfaction, make sure that all your seams align. I can highly recommend this. So, I have finally attached the two layers. Ow. I had a bit of a problem because my lining layer turned out a bit smaller than the other one, so I had to go and correct that. But now we have two layers perfectly aligned. You can see that I've attached the straps already. And if you've done everything right, you can just take it by the straps on the inside and just whoop. It's looking pretty great, not gonna lie. I would like to note that it's still the same day, but it's very late and I'm finally working on the skirt. We sew the 3 panels together along the sides, but leave the back center panel open because that's where we're gonna put the zipper. Before I decided to make it into a dress, I might have used this dress as a picnic blanket once or twice. Oops. We have sewn all the panels together. This is the skirt. All of this will now be gathered to fit my actual waist, and hopefully it will look pretty. I think my neighbors are having a party. I've also discovered even more stains, so this is now hello? We're making a gathering stitch, so sewing machine to the widest stitch length, the longest stitch length, no back stitching, and then you can just, like, I don't know the word, but you can, the length of that anyway. Quick update, I tried it on. This part fits, but suddenly, after I was so proud of myself, every time I tried it on, it looked fine. So that's why I'm really confused that it suddenly doesn't look fine anymore. But do you see how, like, this is basically in my armpit. It's supposed to be here, but it's here. And it's really high up! Ugh! I don't know how to fix it, and I'm gonna go to bed now. Anyway, good night. The next day I gathered all my strength and corrected my mistake. I really had to cut it all open again and correct it. Sew it all back together, and then I finally got to attaching the lining. I usually do this by hand, but I had no more energy left, so we're doing it with a stitch in the ditch. It actually worked kind of well. I think this is how I'm gonna do it now forever, because stitching it by hand takes a lot longer. And now, finally, we are adding the zipper. I didn't have a matching one, so mine is beige, but it doesn't really matter. I just wanted the dress to be done. And so far in my life, nobody's judged me for a different colored zipper, so I'm taking the risk. To finish, you just need to hem the whole thing and obviously sew up this inappropriate booty seam that we have beneath the zipper, and then you can go out for a spritz with a friend because you will later bully her into filming the reveal you with her superior camera.
She's running away. Oh no! Is she gonna come back like a gremlin? Is she? Maybe? Late.